Hello, everyone. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to this name calling. Let's see. All righty. All right. Is Jamari Adams in? Jamari Adams. Nadia Bell. I see you.
Okay, I can do it. All right, let's kick it.
All right. Samaya Blunt.
Here.
Tierra Brady. Tierra Brady. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. All right. DeAndre Burgess. DeAndre Burgess. Jamez Burns. Jamez Burns. Ebony Chavis. Ebony Chavis. All right. Jada Ellerby. Oh, she's signing in right now. Got her. Got Jada Ellerby. Sharnay Ewing.
Here.
All right. Abby Feith. Abby Feith or Faith. I don't know how to pronounce it. Alexis Fields. I see you. Brandon
Here.
Brandon Foster.
I'm here.
All right. Jalen Good. Jalen Good.
Here.
Sydney Graham. Sydney Graham. All right. Tavia Hawley. Tavia Hawley. Kaswana Houston. That's her checking in now. All right, I have Kaswana Houston just checking in. Kiera Jefferson.
Here, Jefferson's here.
All right. Who's that with the 910 phone number? Someone calling me on the phone. Who's that?
Elisa Maldonado. Elisa Maldonado.
JJ.
Okay, I got you. All right. Aaliyah Johnson.
Yeah.
Aaliyah Johnson.
Gigi, come on.
I got you. Robert Jordan. I think Robert Jordan just signed in. Robert Jordan. I got you, Robert. Sierra Knox. Sierra Knox. Kevin E. Lomax. Lomax. I got Miss Maldonado. Sincere Mays. Sincere Mays.
I'm here. Kevin Lomax is here.
Kevin E. Lomax is here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sincere Mays.
I'm here.
All right. Nasir McDaniel Moore.
Wait, did you get that I was here?
Yeah, Sincere, I got you.
Okay.
Did you get me? Ebony Chavis.
Who?
Ebony Chavis.
I got you now.
You got
Nasir,
Nasir McDaniel Moore?
I got you, Nasir.
Cool. Thank you.
Brandon Merritt. Brandon Merritt. I think that's you down. Brandon Merritt, say something. I think.
Ain't nobody hear you.
Y'all can't hear me? Hello? Can y'all hear me?
Here.
No. It's glitching.
Oh, it's
In and out.
Oh, I'm going in and out?
Connection.
No.
No, you keep glitching.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Like, you keep sounding like a robot for real.
Let me get on this 5G.
Yeah. Please do.
All right, is that better?
Yeah, you better.
Yeah, that's better.
But that 5G ain't no, and the game, is it? It's real out here. Now it's saying my internet is unstable. I might not be. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, where was that? Brandon Merritt.
Here.
Okay. Terry Miles. Terry Miles. Mary Monroe. Mary Monroe. Aaliyah Moore.
Here.
All right. Ariel Moore.
I'm here.
Daniel Moore.
Here.
Aaron Orr.
Here.
Ramia Parker.
I'm here.
All right. Aja Pinnick or Asia Pinnick. How do I say it?
It's Asia. I'm
Hey.
here.
Okay. Kiera Porter. Porter. All right. Raven Rayner. Raven Rayner. Gabrielle Rodriguez.
The majority of my last message.
Here.
Cordasia Sharp.
Oh, he passed you.
I'm here.
Tamara Shelley or Sheely.
Yeah.
Tamara Sheely.
Well, at least you on there.
All right. Ariel Sherrod.
Here.
Simone Tunstall.
Here.
Jeremy Vick. I thought I saw Jeremy sign in. Jeremy Vick. All right. Kerry Watkins. Carrie Watkins. Talika Yates. Thought I
Here.
saw. Okay, yeah. Thought I saw your name. Alana Maddox Young.
Here.
All right. Any names that weren't called out, or anybody need to make?
You ain't called mine.
Robert Jordan.
Yeah.
You
I
didn't
got-
call mine either.
Hold
Kiswana
up,
Houston.
Hold up. I got Robert Jordan and Kiswana Houston. I got you. Who else?
Jada
got
Ellie
DeAndre
Towns.
Jada Ellaby.
Yes.
Hold up. I got you already. Who else?
Me, Tiara.
DeAndre.
You got Tiara?
Tiara what?
Brady?
Brady? No, I didn't. Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
DeAndre Burgess.
I did not get you. I got you now. Who else?
Sydney Graham.
Sydney Graham. I did not get you. I got you now, though. Anyone
Thank
else?
you.
Who's Carmen the Great?
Carmen Towns.
All right, I gotta add you to the roster. All right, I'll adjust the roster. Okay, anyone else's name wasn't called? I gotta go back in and look at the roster again. All right, so let's go ahead and get through this session real quick. All right, this would be Zoom session number 2. So tonight we're going to talk about or reiterate chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 1 was like an introduction. Chapter 2 talked about the sources of law. Now, to everyone understand my online lectures that I gave, the YouTube link, was everything understood? Got people trying to sign in.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Gonna briefly go through. Let me see here. All right, we're gonna show you guys the instructional outline I made. So this is just kind of an overview. I outlined all the chapters. All right, so chapter 1 was essentially an introduction. In the book is section 1 where they talk about the purpose and structure of American courts. Of course, they ask questions: why study law, or why study the court system? What is law? It went way back to the Hammurabi Code. It talks about different perspectives of law, or different theories. You can go into that. Pretty much in a nutshell, why I think law is important to study, at least, is law is essentially what mandates what we can and can't do. Especially in times like these where we're trying to protest and change the law. You kind of have to know the history and know why laws were made in order to change them. That's why you guys, I don't know everyone's major, but I'm assuming most of you are criminal justice majors, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys
Yes.
stand in the situation now as criminal justice majors, where you're essentially gonna kind of be experts now, because really in Black Lives Matter movement and the movement to change the criminal justice system, the people who know the criminal justice system are going to be kind of on the cutting edge of that. So in reading this book, going chapter by chapter, I also want you to read between the lines, kind of know not just what the book says, but understand the history behind it. understand the Constitution, which creates our government. Understand who the Constitution was originally made to include and who it was originally made not to include. I want you to know that that's essentially why we're having a lot of problems. And it's because it was not originally made to include everybody. I will say that it is an ingenious document for the simple fact that it's a document that essentially will live forever because the document itself has rules within it, so it can be changed to kind of fit modern times, right? Because of course with the Constitution of the United States, times have changed. We have Fourth Amendment. When the Fourth Amendment was made, essentially all they were doing was searching homes, right? Searching homes, maybe searching your pockets. Now we're talking about searches they do over internet, looking at your hard drive, tracing where your server, looking at all your searches on the internet, wiretapping. That stuff that was not available and was not available to law enforcement in the 1700s when they created the Constitution. So they wanted to create a Constitution that would change with the times. And it has. So the Constitution is good in some ways, but we also need to understand who it included and who it did not include. So chapter 1 goes through the different functions, judicial functions. Let me see. Right. We'll talk about Code of Hammurabi, different perspectives. The relationship between law and justice. Law and justice are sometimes two different things. Sometimes justice and equity is what is the right thing happening, as opposed to the law being what's right and wrong. When it comes to the definition of law, we all know that slavery was not just, right? It was wrong, but slavery was also the law of the land. So that's an example of something being perfectly legal that is wrong. It wasn't equitable or just. So justice is what is fair based upon the law. Equity, let me state this for you again. Justice is what is fair based upon the law. Equity is a term derived from a Latin word "just," which refers to remedies for wrongs that were not recognized under law. So let me back that up. There's a difference between justice and equity. Justice is what the law says is correct, and equity is what's correct but may not be recognized under law. So what I will say is slavery was not equitable, and it definitely wasn't right from a moral standpoint, but it was the law. So I do want you to understand sometimes there are going to be laws that conflict with what's right and wrong, but that's one rule in America or on the planet in general is he who has the guns makes the laws. And then the second rule 1.1 would be he who makes the laws always wins the game. And they're always able to change the laws and change the rules as they go. And that's kind of what we deal with today. That's why we have so many double standards and certain things. The way a gunman can shoot two people in Wisconsin during a protest and walk right by the cops, and he's not even immediately arrested. He got to go home and everything. Then he didn't get arrested for a couple days, and he shot people in cold blood. He was wilding. So I mean, we're going to see that there is a double standard. So I want you guys to be able to read this textbook and learn, but also kind of read between the lines, as I said before. Two models of criminal justice. The criminal control model. It's all about suppressing crime. And then the due process model. It's all about protecting rights. It's more about protecting rights than it is about the suppression of crime. So those are two kind of what I would say, two views that are always going to kind of butt heads, because that's two of the things we're going to always weigh, especially when you get to future classes like criminal procedure, especially criminal procedure, where you're learning about what law enforcement can and can't do. So you're always weighing personal freedoms and a person's rights versus the protection of society. And that's always going to be a balancing act, because you have the cops who, of course, they feel that the more they can intrude upon your privacy, the more they can stop crime and protect society as a whole. And then you have us all as individuals who want our individual rights to always be protected. You want to have your own personal autonomy. You want to be able to walk around without being stopped and have your pockets run, and you don't want your door to just be kicked down. But in certain situations, kicking down doors can solve a crime or two. So we're always having to weigh those two things. Then let's show judicial functions. Talks about what judges are kind of the middleman. They provide a form to settle disputes. How judges make law. They give written laws meaning and definition through practical application. So you have the laws on the books, and then you have the judges, and they make what we call case law. When a case comes to court, it's the judge's job to now interpret the law to determine how it's going to be applied. And this is usually done when cases when cases are appealed, and it's taken all the way to the top of the judiciary through, either state Supreme Court or the federal Supreme Court, where they now have to determine how the law is going to be applied. So that usually you have a person who loses a case at trial, that the laws apply. They think it's unfair. They think it's unconstitutional. They appeal, take it all the way to the Supreme Court of the state. And if it's a federal question, and you'll learn later on how to get to the federal Supreme Court or the United States Supreme Court. But if it goes out, if it's a federal question or some type of constitutional question, the United States Supreme Court may decide to hear the case and review the case. And then that's where a lot of judicial law is made. That's how case law is made. And it sets a precedent that's now going to be applied to future cases with the same facts. So that's kind of how the process of judge-made law goes. Talked a little bit about the common law system, role of the courts in the criminal justice system, adjudication, and that's process and defendants. You have oversight. The courts have the job of overseeing things and making sure things happen fair and square. Then we moved on to chapter 2, where we talked about sources of law. We got the Constitution, legislation, administrative regulations, and case law. Those are the four main. What I would say is, the Constitution, of course, was already here. That was essentially the law that creates our government. So that law was already, that was created first. Then from there, that law also, the Constitution also created the three branches of government. It created the legislative branch, it created the judicial, and it created the executive branch, and it said what their jobs were. So of course, when we talk about legislation, we're talking about the legislative branch. That's when your representatives, the people you put in power by voting, make laws that are now going to govern your community, your state, or if it's local, as far as a city, your city councilmen. They're making laws, they're passing ordinances, and that's going to determine what's legal and illegal in whatever jurisdiction you're in. So that's legislation. Then you have administrative regulations. Now that is when the executive branch, the office of the president on the federal end, or if it's the state side, the office of the governor, they're allowed to now create regulations in their job to do so. The executive branch, essentially the president serves as the top enforcer of the law. So they're allowed to create, they create agencies to make sure that the law is essentially carried out, for lack of a better word. So that means now, if there's the legislation may call for, or the legislator may call for some type of Clean Air Act, right? And the president is charged with appointing a person to head that task force, which would be the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. And the president appoints someone to make sure that those standards are being carried out. So that's what the executive branch does, and they create law by creating regulations. Then you have case law. Case law is when essentially we have these disputes in courts, in the court system. People see it differently. Someone loses and someone appeals, and then at that point it goes to a higher court. It may even go to a court higher than that, until it gets to a court, or the top court of the state, or the top court of all the land, the U.S. Supreme Court. And they decide what the law is going to be and how it's going to be applied. And so that's how we do what we call case law. So anytime we're reading the case, there's some type of a review done by what we call an appellate court. We're not, so of course we talk about what happened at trial, right? Because that's what's in question. But the trial courts don't make the law; they kind of apply it. It's the appellate courts, the appeals courts, and of course the Supreme Court, which is the highest appeals court. They're the ones that kind of give us the law, what it's going to be, and they create precedent. Sources of individual rights, of course, we have the U.S. Constitution, which gives us our individual rights, specifically in the Bill of Rights, those first 10 amendments. And I've actually listed here what those first 10 amendments are. Won't go through them. Let's see.
You got some students that's trying to join back.
I do. Hold on. How I get out of the screen share? Hold up. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think we're good. All right, sorry about that. So let me see. So you also have due process in the 5th and 14th Amendment. Essentially, what the 14th Amendment did. So some of those amendments that applied after the first 10 amendments were essentially amendments that added especially the 14th Amendment, it applied the Bill of Rights to the states. So what it said was these first 10 amendments don't only apply to federal law enforcement and how they're going to treat people, but they also apply to all law enforcement, whether it be local or state law enforcement. So it essentially made the Constitution that applied to every jurisdiction. And in that, of course, it gave us due process and it gave us equal protection that was afforded in the 5th Amendment. So, of course, we won't do a whole lot of, we actually won't do any substantive law and the application of substantive law in this class. This class is kind of, I don't want to call it a how-to, but it's kind of a brush over to talk about everyone's job and what they're supposed to do, and to talk about the criminal court system as a whole. So we're going to learn some law, but we're not really going to learn that much substantive law, and we're definitely not going to do any practical application. So that would be, for me, in the courses I teach, I don't do practical application until we get to the criminal law course and the criminal procedure course. So in this class, you don't have to worry about knowing what every law is, and you don't have to worry about me having you apply the law to hypotheticals. So you're pretty much just going to get multiple choice questions, and that's it. You're not going to be allowed to no practical application. Let's see. Get through this. So they, in this book, they even talked about when the equal protection analysis, and we talked about standards of review and reviewing whether or not a law itself is constitutional, a law or an act of the government is constitutional. We talked about the 3 standards of review. Of course, if there's a law made or an act by the government that treats people a certain way or treats people differently, based upon, like, let's say their age or disability, then the court would apply the rational basis test as a standard to determine whether that act of the government. Hold on, somebody else trying to get in. I need to let somebody else in, or was that a while back?
That was a while back.
Okay.
That was a way while back.
Sorry about that. This technology thing is new. I'm used to being in front of people where all you do is walk in late or you raise your hand. I see you. It's kind of weird. So I'm having to multitask. I'm having to teach this stuff and go over it, and then I'm also having to pay attention to what's going on the side. And then the screen sharing is hard to even. I can't even see what's going on on the side. So I'm glad you guys brought that to my attention.
You doing good. You doing good.
I know I'm an old man. Y'all young folks used to this stuff. Y'all quick with it. Zoom ain't nothing for y'all. Y'all just picked it up, right? But I gotta get used to it. So back to what I was talking about. So when the court is reviewing an act of the government or a law that the government has passed, and that act or law distinguishes people or treats people different based upon age or disability, they're going to apply the rational basis test. And in that situation, the challenger of the law, the person that is now challenging the law, must prove that the discrimination is not rationally related to an advancement of a permissible government interest. That's just the verbiage of it. And let's say if the government creates a law or takes some action that now classifies people based on like gender, let's say sexuality, or what is gender, sexuality, or we'll just say gender and sexuality, and maybe some let's say breaches of the First Amendment. Then in that situation, when the court's reviewing it, they're going to use what we call intermediate scrutiny, which is the next level of scrutiny. So these are what we call the quasi-suspect classification. So they're quasi-suspect because they're, essentially they're things that classify people based upon kind of suspect classifications like sex and sexuality. So your gender and sexuality. So you apply what we call intermediate scrutiny. In that situation, now the state has to prove that the case is constitutional. I mean, that the law is constitutional by showing that it is substantially related to an important government interest. Then from there, you have what we call these very suspect classification when, let's say, the state or the government, they make a law or they take an action that classifies or discriminates someone based upon race, religion, and nationality. Of course, this is now our highest level of scrutiny, and that's called strict scrutiny. So in these cases, now the state or the maker of the law has the burden of proving that the law is constitutional. And in order to prove that it's constitutional, they must show that it's narrowly tailored or well-written and the least restrictive means of advancing a compelling government interest. So that's just the verbiage of it. I just kind of want to get you guys used to hearing that stuff. So those are just the different standards of determining whether or not certain laws that treat people differently, and that's why we call it equal protection, and this is how you apply the equal protection analysis. And so the equal protection is all about determining whether laws are treating people fairly. So if there are laws that treat people differently because of some type of characteristic, then if the court is going to review whether or not that law is constitutional, there's already a set of I guess standards that the court has to apply to that law to determine whether or not it's constitutional. So you have three levels. You have the rational basis test, you have intermediate scrutiny, and you have strict scrutiny, and they apply to different things depending on how the law discriminates. So I like to say classify as opposed to discriminate, but I kind of use them interchangeably. Let's scroll through this. Selective incorporation. We're talking about incorporation. Okay, and that's essentially my notes for chapter 1 and chapter 2. I wasn't gonna sit here and read out the whole thing, because that's your job. I already gave you a full lecture on this. I ain't about to really spoon feed you. Let's see now, how do I get out of screen sharing? Gotta figure this thing out.
Are these notes going to be on Blackboard?
Yeah, no, these notes are not. What do you think? Do you feel like these notes will help you, or will they just keep you
Yes.
from reading?
Yeah, can you put them on
Keep
Blackboard,
them on
please?
there.
It's so long.
That is a
Yeah, I
great
feel like it would
outline.
help.
Can you put them on
It's a
Help?
Blackboard?
great.
I feel
Yeah.
like it would be
Every
spoon feeding
week.
y'all and keeping y'all from
No, just
reading.
put them
Cause if
on
I gave you this,
Blackboard.
because
But I
literally I
mean,
read through the book to make this. So if I give you this, that means I'm essentially reading for you. Now I'm
It's okay. You can read for us.
no, it's not. No, we gotta get y'all right.
I'm gonna still read the book. Just please put it up there.
We'll see. The jury's gonna be
I
out
mean,
on
you
that.
could take some of the information out, just like the key points, because no offense, there's a lot of information in the first chapter alone.
That is a thick. I ain't gonna lie. This book, and I chose the book. I kind of read through it, looked through it, but I didn't realize it was that thick. So even when I was trying to make the outline so I could teach you guys, I was like, "Woo!" They're giving a lot of info.
Even if
But
you
it's
put
good.
the outline up, we still gonna read the book because we already bought the book.
Y'all ain't gonna. How many times y'all done bought a book and ain't read it?
Never, because the books
Y'all
is
have literally
expensive.
no
I'm not
incentive
gonna buy no
whatsoever to
book and
read.
not read it.
So what I'll do, I think I'll post it because I didn't even finish the outline in full, so I haven't got every chapter. Because I got tired of making the outline. So I think I got all the way to like maybe chapter 10 or something like that. But I have most of it. But I'll share the chat. I'll think about sharing my notes or the outline up until I get the point where I stop doing the outline. So we'll see. We'll just play it by ear. I'll give you guys chapters 1 and 2 tonight though.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Much
me.
appreciated.
Say out here saving students. Captain saving students strikes again. I'll be saving them. Y'all ain't heard about me? Did they tell y'all about me?
Mm-mm.
They didn't tell y'all about me?
but your Rate My Professor had some good ratings, so that's why I took your classes.
Yes,
It
it
says
did.
you're real nice.
I'm good out there on the internet.
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you
I've
out
before,
there?
so I know how you are.
Yeah, that's because you're a real cool person.
Oh,
Very
okay.
cool.
Butter me up so I can spoon feed y'all. No, I'm just joking. So that's essentially chapters 1 and chapters 2. So what I'll do after every Zoom, I know y'all saw last week, right, when I posted the Zoom. So just in case you missed this or there's something I said that you didn't quite get, I'll post the Zoom as well. That's another Captain Saving Student thing. So I'm going to post the Zoom. Aaron, did you have your hand? Is your hand up now, or was that a while back?
It's been a long time. I was trying to tell you that Tamara, she needed to get in, and C needed to get in. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Oh, okay. And it's crazy with this thing because like when I'm doing screen share, I can't see anything else. So like I literally have to get out of screen share to see. Like I haven't seen I didn't see anything in the chat until it was like way too late. Like Sierra Knox is saying, "Hey, I'm here," and that's it. She's like, "Have a blessed day, everyone. I'm here." Let me make sure I got you marked down since you're here. Yeah, so this is gonna take some getting used to. Did anybody else come in late that I did not get? Tavia Holly. Let me go from the. Did Carrie Watkins ever come in? What about Tamara Shelley or Sheely? What about Raven Rayner? What about Kiera Porter? Nope. Okay. What about Mary Monroe? Did Terry Miles ever check in? Let's see. Everybody's good. I already said Tavia Holly. Abby Feith. Now I also have to go back and check the roster because I think some people may not be in the class and some people were added. Jamez Burns, are you in here? Antonio Brown and Jamari Adams. Okay. Well, I'll go after check and look at the roster again anyway. But that's it. Pretty much it for tonight. Got the sun in my eyes. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and I gotta figure out how to get out of this. Okay, I'll do it later. So yeah, I think we're going on chapter 1 and chapter 2. I think tonight. I'm trying to think when chapter 3 and chapter 4. Yeah, they'll chapter 3 and chapter 4 lectures will be up tomorrow at 7 a.m. And of course, you have pretty much a whole week. About 6 days to look over it until we have our third Zoom discussion, which will be September 8th. So I will see you guys on September 8th. Of course, if you guys have any questions or concerns, you guys have my email address and you have my mobile number, my law office mobile number. So I prefer you text me on that before calling me. Did y'all get the message? I changed. So in the syllabus, I said I had in-person office hours.
Yeah.
But I figured out that that's not necessary, not really necessary. So I changed it. My in-person office hours are only by appointment. So if you want to see me in person, we have to make an appointment to do so. Is that cool? Anybody got problems with that?
No.
Okay, I guess y'all know.
No, but I have a question.
Go ahead, Aaron Orr.
When are we gonna get the prompt for our first writing assignment?
Well, there's no writing assignment in this class. You're in my other classes.
Sorry.
So if you're but this isn't. So my 200 level courses are not substantive. So there are no writing assignments. Now if you're in my criminal law, that's CRJS 313 or CRJS 312 or 313, which is criminal procedure. Those are substantive. So I do writing assignments there. So I know some of you got me from multiple classes. So please don't get it mixed up. This is criminal. This is courts and judicial process. So there's no paper in this class. No writing assignments at all. So that's for those other two classes. All right. So I think I'm done now. You guys take care. Have a great evening. I'll see you on this class. And now if you're in the other classes, I'll see you later this week. But for this class, I'll see you guys next week, and be on the lookout tomorrow morning. Go to the learning units, and chapters 3 and 4 will be up for your learning pleasure. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Be good. Take care.